Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Deanna Walz, and I'm the Director of Development and Marketing at Habitat for Humanity of Lincoln. How many of you are familiar with Habitat? Raise your hand. Good. And I can tell you, we'll tell you a little bit more here in this presentation, and we'll see how the internet works. Right now we're hooked up to my phone, so it might work, it might not. A lot of you know that there is a housing affordability crisis. We've got, you guys are in the business of trying to find lots. You are in the business of providing homes for families, and it's a tough job, isn't it? It's tough to find, and it's tough to find some of those things. Virtually nowhere in the United States right now can a full-time employee or a full-time minimum wage employee afford a one-bedroom apartment. Experts say that you should pay about a third of your paycheck on rent. If you're doing more than that, then you are what's called housing poor. Average rent in Lincoln right now is $1,169, which means you need to make $21.92 an hour to be able to be in that range and have your space affordable for you. What homeownership does, it provides opportunities for stability. It's an appreciating investment. You all know that. Homeowners have the opportunity to build equity. Property taxes benefit the entire community. There's a sense of community and neighborhood when people own their own home. The biggest misconception about Habitat is that we just give homes away, and we do not. The answer is we actually sell our homes to our homeowners. We provide a hand up, not a handout. So these families are buying a mortgage. They're getting a mortgage just like any other family. They're actually buying that home, but they're doing it at an affordable rate. So we cover that cost, that in-between cost. The family only pays what they're able to pay. Habitat covers that other part of the home, and then they're able to, after a certain period of time, own that home like any other homeowner. Our mortgages are zero, low interest. We make no profit on the sale. Any money that we make goes into buying the next house. And this is where I do my Jimmy Stewart impersonation for those of you that can handle it. And we put your money in so-and-so's house, and we put your... people never laugh, but that's okay. My husband doesn't either. So that's basically how Habitat works. Who qualifies? All of our applicants must have a need for improved housing. So typically they're living in unsafe or defective physical conditions. They're living in an overcrowded situation. It's temporary housing, or they're cost burdened. By the way, all of the families that you see in this slideshow are all families that we have helped in the past year or two. As a matter of fact, this family right here, her name is Day Day. That's her husband, Glory. He is wheelchair dependent. They were living in an apartment building in Lincoln, and she had to carry him up and down their external stairs. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. This family was living in one bedroom, and then her elderly father was living in the other bedroom. And actually, Tamara too, for those of you guys know Tamara actually helped work on this home that we built for this family. Kind of a neat thing. Who qualifies? All of our families must be willing to partner with Habitat and assume a 30-year mortgage. They have to complete 300 to 400 sweat equity hours. So that means they actually need to work on their own home, one of the other homes that we work with, or they need to put in some time at our Habitat Restore, which I'll tell you a little bit more about today. They must be permanent U.S. residents, generally a first-time home buyer, and they can't qualify for financing from traditional sources. So this is usually because maybe they've come from someplace else, they doesn't have a strong banking background, they have to have good credit, but maybe they aren't qualifying in a traditional sense. And here's a little video. Speaking of Day Day, we've got Day Day, who is one of our homeowners, and then Myra, who's a single mother, and we'll share this with you right now.
house and bless Lily and her families for the futures.
So I kind of gave you Day-Day's story, but I wanted to give you Myra's story also. So she was a single mother living with her 15-year-old son. She was very fortunate to have a friend who would rent a bedroom in his trailer. So she was living in one bedroom with her 15-year-old son in a trailer. At sometimes there were 7 people living in that trailer. And she is now a homeowner. That was one situation where we are often known for our new builds and our new construction. A lot of people have that image of Jimmy Carter working on a house. This we actually did was a rehab home. So we were given the home. The home was donated to us. We gutted the interior. I know there's a lot of flippers in the room, so that's basically what we did is we flipped the home for Myra and her son. It's a nice little 2-bedroom home on the northeast side of town, and now they live in it and they're able to grow and grow wealth. As well. So here's a question. How can you help? We all love to know that people are warm and safe and secure in their home. How can you help? Well, I'm glad you asked. There are several ways that folks can help Habitat for Humanity. Of course, you can always volunteer. Tamara, did you see your picture up there? You missed it. She was busy talking while I played the video and her picture showed up. But you can actually volunteer with Habitat and build a home. How many of you do have construction experience and have done some building? It's cool. It's fun, right? You don't have to. You don't have to in order to work on a Habitat for Humanity home. You can just volunteer, lend some extra hours. It looks great from a PR standpoint. You learn a lot and you're able to give back to the community. So that's one way that you can help. Another way you can help is by shopping at the Habitat Restore. Who's familiar with the Habitat Restore? Yeah. It's a great place. It's a discount home improvement store where you can find everything, great cabinets. If you're looking for a great deal on some cabinets or doors or windows or trim or paint, all different kinds of stuff. We get a lot of items donated to the Habitat Restore, and then we resell them. The profit goes into building and repairing more homes, and then you get a deal on your next project. So it's a great place to go and shop. Maybe if you have too much leftover product, of course, we would love that in the form of donations, so you can donate that as well. Habitat team builds, if you've got a group of friends and you'd like to put something together, or your business or your organization would like to participate on those, it's a great way to bond with a group of people. We have lots of packages available. We do ask for financial support because that helps us with our mission, but that volunteer component as well is a great way to bond together as a unit. And everybody gets a free t-shirt and lunch, and that's always fun. Our Women Build campaign is coming up. We kicked it off in September, and we are going to be culminating this with some build days in May. This is an opportunity for women across the community, doesn't matter what they do, to come together, raise a hammer, and build some homes for families. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of parties along with it because it's not just about the building, it's about the pink hard hat and having fun. Corporate sponsorships as well. We're always looking for folks to help us out in whatever capacity they can. We've got our Community Builders Breakfast coming up in March that we are looking for attendees to go. This is a great time to meet and network with other folks in the building, construction, and real estate industries. That's March 20th at Hillcrest Country Club here in Lincoln. And of course, I'm going to ask this group, I don't have a slide for this, but we're always looking for land to buy. So we're not just looking for things to be donated to Habitat. Of course, we would love it if we lived in a world where everybody would donate their goods and services to us, so that would be lovely. But we also buy land, and we also do fix-it-uppers as well. So I'm going to leave my business cards here. If you hear of something fantastic that you would like to unload or you'd like to have a conversation about, reach out to me. I'll pass your information along to our construction team, and we can start a conversation. Overall, our main goal is to get people into homes, and because we believe that everyone deserves a decent place to live. That's our mission, and thank you so much for your time. Was that the fastest 15 minutes of a presentation ever? I'll answer questions now. Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of donations of like extra materials or like building materials and stuff like that, what all do you guys accept?
We accept a lot of things. At the end of the day, it's the people at the door who decide what we can and can't take. It's got to be in working condition. Furniture, appliances need to be relatively newish. I think it's like within the last 15, 20 years. And we can't take opened paint. It's got to be closed. But if you've got like, if you have a 20-gallon order and you only wind up using 15, we'll take that 5. We'd love it. Yeah, great. Yeah.
My name's Jay James. I was at the Omaha Real Estate Investment last week, and the keynote speaker over there was Oxford House. They help with sober living.
Oh.
I was blown away by it. If anyone has questions about the Oxford House for their next property, I was blown away by it. But my question to you is, what the Oxford House shared their buy box with us, right? Like, what is it the minimum they're looking for before they even consider it like something they would look into? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great question that I don't have the answer for. As I'm the director of development and marketing, so my really great thing is that I can pass your name and information on to everybody, and I can do the same and vice versa. I'm the flow-through person. Yeah, so I don't know.
Oh, no,
I know what I know, and then I don't know anything else. I feel like I feel like Oprah.
You mentioned low and no interest mortgages. Who holds those mortgages?
Thank you very much. Habitat for Humanity of Omaha actually holds the mortgages for us.
Can I ask one other one? With low income and challenged folks that you're mentioning, when you buy a house, there's other expenses besides, like, you make the mortgage affordable, but there's insurance, which is skyrocketing right now. There's property taxes, which are high in Nebraska. Do you guys do anything to, I guess, evaluate if they can afford the full cost of home ownership, or do you help those families once they move in any way with all that set of costs and everything?
I think that would be great if we did. That is not a part of our current program. So we do evaluate their ability to pay, but other than that, we don't count in the extras. But we tend to look at their lives overall. The families that we accept in the program we're working with for a long period of time. So we typically get a pretty good idea of how stable their finances are.
So can they potentially not qualify because they actually can't afford the insurance
Yes.
and everything?
Yep. Yeah, we have families that apply for our program that make too much, and we do have families that apply for a program that do not make enough. It's always one of those kind of sad decisions that they have to make. And then again, we're based on how much land we have and how many projects and opportunities that we think that we're going to be able to do in the year. So that gives us our amount of families that we can serve.
How many projects do you do in a typical year? What are you looking at this year?
6.
So 6 houses.
6, yes. We have 5 properties in various stages of production right now. I know we do need to purchase some more to fill out our whole 6 this year, but that's where we are. We're going to be closing on our second set of townhomes this spring, and that's been a really exciting project. There are 3 families that are going to be right next door. It's a set of townhomes and then a single family home all out on West Q Street, and they all speak Arabic. They're all from different countries, but they all speak Arabic. And it's super cool because they've been able to navigate this entire system together. Investing, getting your home, going through all of those processes, as scary as it can be if English isn't your first language. And here's all of these families that are just learning so much and being able to learn with one another and creating an entire community. It's pretty cool.
So you had mentioned there are some applicants who you turn away because they make too much. I'm curious if for the people who are here, who are looking for the next property, and maybe for that exit strategy on the next property, they could do a lease to own for the person who takes over. I'd be curious if the people who you turn away, if maybe we could connect with them and say, hey, what's their buy box, right? Maybe
Right.
our next property that we acquire, we can connect with them, work with them for a lease to own as well, since they're making too much.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. I think my goal with everything that I'm doing with Habitat is that there's a solution for every problem. I firmly believe that to be a thing. I think that every problem that we have in our community right now, in our world, can be solved if we put the right people with the right people with the right people. You know what I mean? Affordable housing is a huge issue, and it goes beyond political affiliation. It goes beyond everything. We need people to have decent places to live. If we want happy employees, we need decent places to live. If we want a functioning society that's low in crime, We need decent places to live. People need a decent place to live for us to thrive as a community. So I love this idea of partnering once we have families that aren't being served by our program. I will tell you that we are taking what we're doing a step further. We're also now REACH affiliated. So families, first-time home buyers, and they don't have to be Habitat families. They can be just the general public. We're going to be teaching REACH classes, which will allow families to learn about the entire home buying process. And then at the end of this, they'll get REACH certified. They'll get a special certification that will allow them for certain programs to get additional down payment assistance. And that's going to be a free program that we're going to be offering to anybody. So we're working in that space, and we want to make sure that everybody has access to housing in some way, shape, or form.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there any, like, with the city of Lincoln, do you get, because you're Habitat, does it, the nonprofit, do you get tax advantage, or do the bigger people get tax advantage, or
No.
no?
That is sad.
Well, I mean, we get some great conversations, and we get leads on purchasing some of the city's properties, but we don't. No, there's no tax advantage.
Well, you're a nonprofit, you don't pay tax.
Right. I mean, yeah, but our families still do. And sometimes there's some bias when a Habitat family moves into a neighborhood, and there's sometimes people are a little, oh, a Habitat home, oh, and there's a negative perception. And what I remind people all the time is these families have been vetted and vetted and vetted for this program, and they're paying property taxes just like you are. So that's something to.
Have you ever foreclosing on them if they don't pay?
It does happen. If they are unable, we give them every opportunity. We give them multiple opportunities. It does happen. It happens infrequently because we do vet them so well, but every once in a while there are families that are unable to pay their mortgage, and we do have to foreclose. In that case, the home tends to come back to Habitat, and then we resell it to another family. Yep.
So my question is kind of understanding how the timeline works. You know, you mentioned earlier that people donate, or owners donate. So if hypothetically the investors here, let's say we acquire property tomorrow, right? And it's a property that requires a lot of attention. I was actually showing this gentleman a property that he admits it definitely needs a lot of attention. If we were to work with Habitat and it was something that you guys would want, your team would want, how does that, I guess, what's the next step once we make that connection? Did the investors receive like a payout, or is there, I guess, like
Finder's fee or something.
I'm sorry?
Like a finder's fee or something?
Well, not necessarily a finder's fee, but just, I guess, like, do you just purchase it like a title, or just how does that work once we find something that you want?
Well, and this depends. And again, this is not my particular department, but we purchase them just like any other land purchaser would do, unless it's donated, in which case we do something different. And I don't know exactly what that looks like, some kind of in-kind donation procedure. But as far as timeline, we move probably pretty quickly on it because we want to make sure that we get these families in homes.
Thank you.
Yep.
So the lot purchase you guys made for me was pretty clean and simple.
Here, I'm going to let Josh take over.
Thank you.
The lot that they purchased from me last year was a really clean, simple process, actually. Probably easier than other traditional transactions I've done, so.
So you just went to title?
Yep, just like any other, yep,
All right.
yep, so.
Did you sell it for roughly market price?
Yeah, I thought it was a fair price. They beat me up by like $500.
So 10%.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. Thank you, Josh. Yep.
What percentage is rehabs versus new builds that you guys do?
Right now, we are building 1 out of our 6 is a rehab. So I don't know, I'm not a math major, but that's a 1 out of 6, whatever that looks like. We realize that that's probably going to be we're going to be doing more of that in the future, just because the land is more difficult to acquire. And we're ready and willing and excited for that opportunity. Yeah.
How long have you been in Lincoln?
Habitat, 1988. So Habitat Lincoln has been here since 1988. Habitat International, 1976. And it started in Americus, Georgia, and now is an international organization. We are an independent chapter, or an affiliate here in Lincoln. And we're Lancaster County and Seward County. I probably should mention that. Thank you so much, and I will hand out my cards. By all means, keep us in mind. There's all kinds of relationships that I would love to develop and see grow. There's a lot of issues in our community that can be fixed. We just need to talk to the right people, right? So thank you so much for having me.